Emily's going to talk to you about the 21-day detox or purification process. I'm on day 3 right now. This is the 4th or 5th time that I've done it. Whether you're here to get healthy, whether you're here just to kind of lose body fat, it doesn't matter because both are going to happen. And Emily will explain everything to you.
I've only done it once, and I haven't started the second one yet. I figured I'd wait until I had a nice team of support around me to do this stuff, especially looking at you guys over here. All right, so did everyone fill out their toxicity questionnaire? Yeah. Are you really toxic? Are you surprised by how toxic you are, or what? You're toxic. No, you're not. I'm teasing.
Thanks, friend.
All right. So in a nutshell, all disease is one, too little or too much. And when it comes to toxicity, it's obviously too much. So anything that we can do to reduce our toxic load is going to give us a greater capacity for stress, and it's just going to help everything function most optimally. I also love this quote: to diagnose is very difficult, but to balance is easy. I feel like that was really reinforced at a workshop we went to yesterday, talking about trying to nail down methylation and so forth. It just, the conclusion I came to is that that's just very involved in trying to bring balance, and just keep things really simple is really the way to go. So why detox?
Emily?
Yep.
I think we can't see.
I'm sorry.
Understanding.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
great. Thank you.
Okay. To get a better score in your toxicity questionnaire. To break habits that aren't serving you. To establish habitual health building practices, whether it be incorporating movement or maybe just incorporation of really specific healthy foods, or taking supplements to help support your health. Prevent and heal from disease. Reset internal detoxification, immune and metabolic processes. To break through performance plateaus. The first time I did this cleanse, I was training, and I was surprised. I was really afraid that I would lose muscle, and in fact, I found that I broke through and hit some goals that I was trying to get for a long time. So, and because you're worth it, no one cares about you more than you, and so, you got to live in your body, so you might as well make it fun and feel good. So, that's interesting. Where are toxins stored? A lot of toxins are stored in your fat cells. Some people have trouble. Oh, there they are. That's what I was looking for. So what detoxification does, and specifically the standard process program, is it actually causes toxins to be released from your fat cells so they can be moved out. A lot of the detox programs that you might find are really based in moving stuff out of your colon, which is great, and a lot of people need that, but what that doesn't do is to actually get your fat cells to let go of that stuff and get it out of your body. So the organs of detoxification include the lymphatics, blood, skin, kidneys, colon, lungs, and liver. I have slides with a lot of good information, and I'm not going to bore you with all of it, but you're welcome to just kind of read. Obviously the liver and kidneys are kind of the ones that we all know. And then of course the digestive tract is another component. And so the liver has a few different phases of detoxification, and the standard process products that kind of go along with the program are specifically designed to address both of the phases. And there are different things you can do to complement the that part of detoxification. Like Epsom salt baths are really helpful for some of the phase 2 liver detoxification. So what are some symptoms of toxic overload? Pretty much anytime you feel like something's going on with your body, whether it has a name or not, or you can't identify it, it's usually because there's some sort of interference or something that's out of balance. Are any of these kind of like a surprise as far as toxicity goes?
the mental fog, I would just see it and think that.
You wouldn't have thought that? Yeah. Yeah, just like, I mean, if you eat a really good meal, sometimes you notice a difference in your performance versus if you eat a meal that's, kind of taxing digestively and so forth. Okay, so obesity obviously is one that affects a lot of people. So this chart here is what the obesity trends looked like back in 1985, which is a long time ago, 30 some years. And so 5 years later, you can see the darker colors show the trend in an increase in the obesity. Here we are in 95, 2000, 2005, there's 2010. They just had to even get new colors there. For whatever reason, the South always seems to have
fried food.
The fried food?
Mac and cheese.
Yeah. Good old Minnesota's hanging in there at 20 to 24%. So what can we change? What can we do differently? I mean, I think everyone already knows about the obesity trend. I think it's really impactful to see it on a map like that and just to watch it grow that rapidly, like every 5 years. So we can sit less and move more. And, I think everyone is now saying that sitting is the new smoking, and that, just that immobility and what happens over a lifetime of not moving is just as detrimental, if not more so, than smoking. So I think most of you have some good familiarity with chiropractic, and that's obviously a foundational way to get movement in your spine. Yoga is also fantastic. High intensity interval training is really good on a lot of different levels. Weight training as well. Standing desks are great. Just playing with your kids and your dogs, a little bit goes a long way. Another thing that we can change is just going back to eating real food. Like, it seriously is just that simple. How did your grandparents eat? How did your great grandparents eat? When they were on farms and grew their own food and kind of had a Joel Salatin-ish sort of closed loop food system. Is anyone familiar with Joel Salatin? No, he's kind of he's my old man farmer crush, but he's basically kind of a renegade of the real food movement, and he's come up with some really great systems to create closed loop farming. So that means that basically nothing's wasted and everything's kind of used in a process that aligns with nature. So you end up with the healthiest food that way, because happy animals that eat good food make really good food for you. I thought these were kind of staggering statistics. 80% of people don't get enough veggies. 75% don't get enough fruit, which seems a little bit off, because I feel like people probably get pretty close to enough and maybe a little much. But grains, proteins, the oils thing, the fat thing. I love fat. It's probably the most underutilized source of food out there. So 72% are not eating enough fat. And fats are very anti-inflammatory. They make great fuel. Your brain is made of fat. So anyone heard of ketogenic diet? Yeah. So that's the theory behind that, is that burning fat for fuel instead of glycogen is ideal and what we should do, and prevents disease processes and so forth. 70% have too much sugar. 71% have intakes above the limit of saturated fat. I'm not positive where these statistics came from now that I'm reading them, but saturated fat is more based on source than just being lumped in one category. So don't be afraid of fat that's saturated, because your brain is made of saturated fat. So reducing sugar consumption, that just kind of goes without saying. Managing stress well, I think that's where a lot of people don't realize how important that is for your health. Stressors come from internal and external sources. We create a lot of our own free radicals just by our stress and emotional and mental life. I have some fun tools for that at the end. And then just actually putting a focus on prevention and health building, like purposely taking steps, just like you would in anything else, that would have a huge impact on people, I think. And then reducing toxicity in your home. That is pretty much, that could be a whole workshop in and of itself, but anything that you put on your skin goes in your body, you know, I mean, the things that you might not even think about that you're repetitively exposed to make a huge difference. This statistic pretty much changed how my relationship with sugar. After consuming a certain amount of sugar, your cell-mediated immunity is suppressed by 50% for 120 minutes after you eat it. So basically, you consume, you know, a soda or something, and you're tanking your immune system for a good hour and a half.
Oh, no.
I know, it's not good. Have you ever like started to feel like you're getting a cold or something, and then you decide to have, you know, that cupcake or whatever, and suddenly you find yourself just plummeting? Anyone have that experience? No?
I find the cupcake makes me feel better.
It does? That might be the stress reduction aspect of it.
There you go. Which is very important.
Okay, so why standard process? I love standard process. They're not paying me to be here right now. I don't, you know, whole food is number one in my book, movement, all that sort of thing. But supplements, they're necessary, they're helpful, they can be a strategic way to build your health and pull you out of crisis and find balance and so on and so forth. And I really love Standard Process because they're whole food based. The company, you know, owns farms that they grow their food, that they make their products from. They're well researched, and they have probably a longer history than any of the other natural supplement companies out there. I mentioned that earlier, and it is a pretty good blend of like the Whole30 and elimination type diets. Elimination type diets can help you identify different allergens by removing the food from your diet for a period of time and then adding them back in one at a time. So, researching. All right, so here's the products. So, the cleanse you take for the first 9 days, I believe, and then you'll move on to the green food, and then you'll take the protein, the supplement shakes throughout, and then the fiber supplement. You can take one or the other, depend on your personal digestive needs. Okay, so here's the cleanse. Standard Process did provide me all these slides for free though, so there's a few of them talking about the products. I'll just let you, can you see past me? Am I standing in your way again? Okay, so.
Do you want us to hold questions till the end?
No, go for it.
So I emailed my doctor,
Yep.
my internist, and told her that I was interested in doing the Standard Process 21 day.
Yep.
And I didn't know, I doubt that she looked it up to see what it was. But she shot me back an email and said, I'm not a believer in cleanses. I think there could be metabolic consequences. There's no studies to support benefits. I was curious as to why she said metabolic consequences. Do you have any idea what she may be alluding to?
Well, I mean, extreme metabolic
You mean
pressures,
rapidly?
like,
Kind of
you know,
rapid?
if you're not taking enough calories in on a regular basis, your body will adapt to that, and then if you try and go back to eating more normally, it can throw stuff out of whack. She might be thinking of a cleanse more like, I don't know if you guys remember, like the cayenne pepper and honey and.
The master cleanse?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I'm a big fan of
that's why
that.
I put specifically what it was. I don't think she looked it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think it's the case for this particular cleanse, and there is research for this. There's some cardiovascular research that they've done on it, and some other stuff that I can email to you if you like. So.
And Paige, this is a whole food-based cleanse. You're eating the whole time. You're eating lots of vegetables. You're eating fruits. You're eating food. The supplements, the SP Complete has a lot of good nutrients in there. The medical profession sometimes doesn't view it as a problem until they can label it with a disease.
Right.
But the air we
And
breathe is
scrubs.
toxic. The water we drink is toxic. The food we eat is toxic.
anti-pertinent, aluminum and anti-pertinent.